Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video tonight, there's a few things to negotiate about. So I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jadon Sancho. Then I'm going to be giving you some latest news regarding Dean Henderson, because there is huge developments on him. Then I'm going to give you the latest news regarding Alexis Sanchez. Then after that, there's quite a few other things to negotiate about. As you've seen on my two videos today, I have given you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of the game against West Ham tomorrow, and I've also given you my starting 11 prediction. So anyway, let's get on with the news regarding Jadon Sancho. So according to reports from the German press, they have said that Jadon Sancho wants to leave Borussia Dortmund, and reportedly we are set to make a take it or leave it £80 million offer for Jadon Sancho. And reportedly, we have been in advanced talks with Jadon Sancho. Christian Falk, who's a German football expert, he's spoken about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga quite a few times. You've also had Fabrizio Romano. He's spoken about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga for quite some time. There was reports coming out last week saying that we were close to agreeing a £100 million deal with Borussia Dortmund for Jadon Sancho, because Borussia Dortmund have confirmed that they will not let Sancho go on a cut price deal. I think Borussia Dortmund have come to accept the fact that Jadon Sancho does want to leave, so they are now looking for replacements for him. Reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has told Ed Woodward he wants to sign Jadon Sancho in August. Borussia Dortmund have set their deadline, and I think we've got until the 10th of August to sign him. If we don't sign him by the 10th of August, then the deal is off. You had Borussia Dortmund CEO last month. He said that he expects Jadon Sancho to stay at Borussia Dortmund because he's very convinced that no club's willing to meet their valuation for the player. But on the other hand, you had Lucien Favre, the Borussia Dortmund boss. He made an admission saying that Sancho could still leave Borussia Dortmund in the summer transfer window. I believe that we've already agreed personal terms with Sancho, and we've agreed around a £140,000 a week contract, and it is a 5-year deal, but no fee has yet come to an agreement. Probably £80 million isn't going to be enough to convince Dortmund to offload him, because Borussia Dortmund have remained ruthless over their valuation for so long. They have said that they want at least £100 million for the player. There was a lot of narratives coming out quite a few weeks ago saying that we'd set our limit for Sancho and we was only willing to pay £50 million for the player. But he is our number one priority target, and he has been our number one priority target for a while. Obviously, City, I think, have been in for him, because last week, City got their 2-year Champions League ban overturned by CAS. Reflects on that now, City, may get the players that they want in the summer transfer window, and Sancho is a former Manchester City player. He did endure 2 years with Manchester City, but the main explanation why he left Manchester City is because he did not get any first team opportunities. But Dortmund got him for just £8 million. But analyse his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown, because this has been Sancho's 3rd season with Dortmund, and I think he's got like 20 goals this season. Sancho has got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. We've already made a promise to Sancho that we are willing to offer him the number 7. We have got number 7 vacant at the moment, but we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. Borussia Dortmund have let quite a few of their players go to the Premier League in recent years. There's also players that they've let go who didn't go to the Premier League. I think recently as well, Rashford's been talking with Woodward regarding Jadon Sancho, and that's one of the beneficial reasons why I want Sancho at the football club, is because he's got a very, very good friendship with Rashford, and Plus, he's well proven in the Premier League. He's well proven in the Premier League. It did recently say we are willing to sell like 6 of our players to fund the move for Sancho, but it said we'll only go in for Sancho if we get qualification for the Champions League. If we don't get qualification for the Champions League, then it said we will not move in for Sancho. Near the start of the resumption of the season, Sancho had been fined £8,000 for breaking lockdown rules. And all of that. But I think Jadon Sancho did reveal if he leaves Borussia Dortmund, his preferred option would be a move to Manchester United. Don't forget, Chelsea were in for him at one point. Jadon Sancho was a boyhood Chelsea fan. Also, too, Liverpool were in for him at one point. But we first expressed our interest in Sancho back in 2017. I want him as well because he is a right winner, and Manchester United are in search for a right winner. But, I'm still very, very convinced that we can get a deal over the line for him. We have been looking at a few alternatives to Sancho, because I will make an admission, these cheaper solutions in Jadon Sancho, we've been looking at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. We've been looking at Ferran Torres from Valencia. We've also looked at Robbie Matondo before from Schalke. We've inquired about the availability of Figo Almeida. But yeah. But I've got to be honest with you, Dortmund have done good recruitment in, recent years. They've just recently signed Jude Bellingham from Birmingham. That's a very, very good signing for them. Didn't they get him for around 34 million? Dortmund got Erling Haaland in January, and he's been a very, very good signing for them. It was a shame that we didn't sign Haaland in January because it would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. They got Thorgan Hazard, they got Julian Brandt, they got Emre Can. So Dortmund have got a pretty good squad, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But anyway, that's the latest news regarding Jadon Sancho. We're going to make an £80 million offer for him, and we're not willing to pay any more than £80 million for Jadon Sancho. And Sancho, has confirmed that he does want to leave. So that is the breaking news regarding him. Now, let's delve into the news on Dean Henderson. So, reportedly, Dean Henderson has been in talks with Manchester United over signing a new long-term contract. Now, reportedly, Dean Henderson is demanding £100,000 a week if he is to sign a new contract with Manchester United. Now, Dean Henderson has got a contract with the football club until 2022. There's narratives coming out of the mainstream media saying that Chelsea are willing to more than double his wages. So Chelsea are willing to offer him around £170,000 a week. Because I think he's on £70,000 a week at the moment. Sheffield United are paying the vast majority of that because Dean Henderson's out on loan with Sheffield United at the moment. This has been his second season on loan with Sheffield United, Dean Henderson. And I've got to say, he's been Sheffield United's player of the season. He really, really has. And he's had a few other loan spells as well with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. We got him in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at just the age of 14. And Chelsea, have done really, really good recruitment so far. That's one admission I've got to make. And I think, they could be now with a shout for next season. They've obviously, got Werner for 48 million. They got Hakim Ziyech back in February for 37 or was it 38 million. I think they've now got Havertz on the board, or they're close to getting Havertz, because reportedly they've agreed to get Havertz for around £80 million from Bayer Leverkusen. But they want Dean Henderson because they're seeing him as a replacement for Kepa Arrizabalaga. But I don't think we'll let Dean Henderson go permanently because we do see him as a long-term replacement for David De Gea. Now, I think Dean Henderson could possibly be our number one for next season. Obviously, reflects on how poor David De Gea has been in the last couple of years. This has been now David De Gea's 9th season at Manchester United. He is approaching his 10th year at the football club. And Solskjaer did make an admission saying that David De Gea's position is under threat at the football club, and he's warned David De Gea that he does need to raise his game. Obviously, he made two calamitous mistakes in the 3-1 defeat to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final, because he should have kept Giroud's shot out, and he also should have kept Mason Mount's shot out, should David De Gea. And there's been reports coming out saying that, Solskjaer could drop David De Gea for our two remaining league games and play Sergio Romero instead. But Solskjaer was talking a lot about David De Gea the other week, saying that he's been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years. Like I said to you before, I think David De Gea has had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been with us. David De Gea has now made 402 appearances for Manchester United in all competitions and that, but he is receiving a lot of criticism. Solskjaer was speaking about Dean Henderson the other week, saying that he will become England's number 1 and Man United's number 1 goalkeeper in the future. But he said at that point, Dean Henderson's not yet ready to become our number 1. But next season, I think, he definitely, could be. So anyway, that's the latest news regarding Dean Henderson. Now let's delve into the news on Alexis Sanchez. So the news is on Alexis Sanchez. This is stemming from La Cuarta, if I pronounce that correctly. I think it's a Chilean newspaper. And they've said that Manchester City are interested in Alexis Sanchez. Now, back in 2018, Manchester City were also interested in Alexis Sanchez, but his wage demands put Manchester City off. So this is why, Manchester City, didn't get him on the board. Now, it would be very beneficial if we could get rid of Alexis Sanchez on a permanent transfer. He is out on loan with Inter Milan at the moment. He joined Inter Milan last summer on a 10-month loan. Don't forget, Inter Milan have got no option to buy, or there's no obligation to buy. I don't think Inter Milan want to get Sanchez permanently. Sanchez endured a difficult time at Inter Milan. Don't forget he had that dislocated ankle and he was out for like 3 months. He endured a difficult 18 months at Manchester United. We got Sanchez back in January 2018 as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal. And we thought Sanchez would have been an exceptional signing for us. But, he wasn't. He failed to rediscover the form of what he produced in his 3.5-4 years with Arsenal. He also failed to produce, what he did under Pep Guardiola at Barcelona when he was younger. And Sanchez has still got a contract with us until 2022. Sanchez's wages at Manchester United are like 400 grand a week, rising up to £500,000 a week based on the image rights and the bonuses. But despite the fact that he's on loan at Inter Milan, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. I still believe we're paying him like £300,000 a week. And Inter Milan are paying like the other £100,000 a week. I think Inter Milan have been in negotiations over possibly extending his loan for another season, then maybe having the option to buy him at the end of the loan. But like I've just said, I don't think Inter Milan want to get him permanently. I think we've said want around 17 million to get rid of Alexis Sanchez permanently in that. So reportedly now, Manchester City are interested in him. So that is the latest news on all of that. But Manchester United's priorities for the remainder of this season is top 4. That's definitely a priority for us because we know how important Champions League qualification is, for our players. I think it's also important for attracting players, and it's important for our financial structure because if we do get qualification for the Champions League, we will generate money. The Europa League is also a priority for us because that's the only chance we've got of winning any silverware this season under Solskjaer. And I think we are emerged as one of the favourites to win the Europa League. But if we win the Europa League anyway, we'd get automatic qualification for the Champions League. But I'm very convinced that we can win it. Like I said, next season, Solskjaer will have bigger expectations to exceed because I think next season, our expectations will be to challenge for the Premier League title. Solskjaer did recently say we've got to spend money to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. We know that the summer transfer window's opening on the 27th of July. There is a lot of uncertainty regarding the summer transfer window with the financial impact of the coronavirus pandemic. I think it confirmed before the resumption of the season we had taken around a £140 million loan to help us, get the right calibre players in. I think our transfer budget's unknown at the moment, like Solskjaer revealed a few weeks ago. Our pre-season plans and our transfer strategy are all up in the air. We know next season is starting in September, so that's another thing I do want to confirm with you. But the summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fourth transfer window as Manchester United manager. And one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's biggest tests is the summer transfer window, because it's going to be interesting to see who he recommends into the football club. Next season is going to be one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's biggest tests, because we want to be better next season than we have been for the vast majority of this season. Don't forget, we've done very, very well since Bruno Fernandes came into the football club, because he has made a difference in the team. We did go on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until obviously, Chelsea beat us in the FA Cup semi-final, but we still remain unbeaten in our last 12 Premier League games. So that's obviously, still very, very good. But it has been our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. But earlier on in the season, don't forget, we enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. And at that point, Solskjaer was under serious pressure at the football club. And I thought then his managerial tenure at Manchester United was not going to work out. Solskjaer's already revealed his plans for the summer transfer window. He's already told Ed Woodward the areas where he wants to strengthen up in the squad. And Solskjaer has said he wants to recommend a striker in. He also wants to recommend a right winger in. And he's looking to recommend a centre defensive midfielder in. There's still some reports saying that he wants to recommend a centre-half in, even though we have got like 7 centre-halves in the team. But I think we're looking to make 3 signings in the summer transfer window on that. But Solskjaer, I believe, is very trustworthy. He's very trustworthy in, spending money. Because, Solskjaer has brought 5 good players into the football club so far and spent just over £200 million. Last summer brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. And in January, he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odi Nagalo into the football club. So definitely our recruitment's improved under Solskjaer. Because I've got to be honest with you, before Solskjaer came in, our recruitment was very, very poor. And it was poor for several years, and we'd been heavily criticised for that. Also, too, we've been criticised for overpaying for players. I think, Solskjaer's promoted the youth very, very well, because, the young players have been given their opportunities this season. Our record against the top 6 sides this season's been very, very good, because we've taken 18 points against the top 6 sides this season. So that's good news. Also, too, Solskjaer's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the football club. So these positives to take from his tenure so far. And Solskjaer has been at Manchester United for 18 months. Or is it just over 18 months Solskjaer's been here? I think he's been permanent Manchester United manager for around 15 or 16 months. But there's still things that Manchester United do need to improve on. I think we need to move the ball quicker. We need to keep the ball better. We need to be quicker on the flanks. Maybe we need to be a bit more clinical in front of goal. Maybe, we defensively need to improve. Maybe Solskjaer needs to improve his decision making a little bit and all of that. Because in the game against Chelsea, Solskjaer was very tactically naive. He really, really was. I don't know if Solskjaer's the foreseeable future for Man United. Time will tell. I'm hopeful that we can win a title under Solskjaer, and if we could do this, it would be our 21st title. Because as it stands at the moment, we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles. So we are the most successful team in England at the moment. We are the most successful team in England at the moment, but we haven't won the Premier League for 7 years. So last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. Like I said, I don't think anyone will replicate Ferguson's legacy at Manchester United. I don't think anyone will last as long as Ferguson did. But I'm still hopeful that we can get back to where I want to be under Solskjaer. You know, Ferguson endured, 26 years at Man United. Endured 22 years of success because obviously Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. And we won a total of 38 major honours under Ferguson, including 13 Premier League titles and that. So our success came under Ferguson, well, the vast majority of it. Obviously, since Ferguson left, we've been playing catch-up. In the last 7 years, we've only won 3 trophies, and that was the Europa League and League Cup under Mourinho and the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. You know, we've recruited a good 30-odd players in since Ferguson left. Under Moyes, you know, we brought Mata and Fellaini in. Under Van Gaal, he brought about 16 players into the club. He brought likes of Schneiderlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Falcao, Ander Herrera, Memphis Depay, Daley Blind, Rojo, Darmian, Martial Shaw, they're still here. You know, Romero, he's still here. You know, so Van Gaal brought a lot of players into the football club. You know, Mourinho, he recommended 11 players into Manchester United, and there's only a few players that have left who Jose Mourinho brought in and all of that. But I think a lot of the players we have brought in the last 7 years haven't been the right players for Manchester United. On the other hand, though, there's players that we've brought in who did well for the club and who we got rid of, and we really, you know, shouldn't have got rid of them. But, you know, we spent, you know, a good £900 million since Alex Ferguson retired. So a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. And that also includes what we've spent under Solskjaer so far. But Solskjaer, you know, is inheriting, you know, the vast majority of Jose Mourinho's players. So he is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. By the way, I think we have announced we have announced 3 signings. I think we've signed 3 academy players. I also want to confirm that because we have got a lot of good young players coming through. We really, really haven't that. Like I said, there's players that have been finding game time very, very difficult at the football club. I think that James Garner's found game time difficult. You've had Tahith Chon, he's found game time difficult. Jesse Lingard, Andres Pereira, they've all found game time difficult. Diego Dalot, he's found game time very, very difficult and that. But I think we're going to get rid of at least 6 players in the summer transfer window. You know, it said last week, I think, that we'd put 6 players up for sale, and those players were Lingard, Sanchez, Smalling, Jones, Rojo, and Diego Dalot. You know, there you go. We've got around 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. Like I said, we're facing a dilemma regarding the contract. So we've got to make a decision on these 8 players. Are we going to extend any of their contracts? To be fair, though, we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer got recommended into the football club. You know, so there you go. Game tomorrow against West Ham. Like I said, I've given you my preview and that for the game. Should be a win for Manchester United tomorrow night. We've got 2 games remaining. You know, we can afford to lose or draw and win one and still finish in that top 4 because Leicester recently lost to Tottenham 3-0. Like I said, West Ham are more or less safe. They are sitting 15th in the Premier League, so West Ham have literally nothing to play for. Like I said, we've got a pretty good record against them at home. We're unbeaten in our last 11 Premier League home games against West Ham. West Ham are looking to do the double over us in the Premier League for the first time since 2007 because West Ham did beat us earlier on in the season at London Stadium by 2-0. They also beat us at London Stadium last season by 3-1, did West Ham. And we have won 28 of our 47 Premier League meetings against West Ham and all of that. But, you know, we need to see a reaction from Manchester United, you know, from that 3-1 defeat to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. Solskjaer's got to tactically get it right against West Ham, which I expect him to do. Solskjaer in the game against Chelsea had made 5 changes from the 2-0 win against Crystal Palace. And like I said, the mistakes he made was not starting Romero. He didn't start Pogba and McTominay, benched him. He didn't start Martial. He also didn't start Mason Greenwood. So they're the mistakes he did make in the game against Chelsea. But in this game against West Ham, I expect Mason Greenwood to start, Martial to start, Pogba to start. I think McTominay will also start the game as well. So, he will make quite a few changes. I give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference, didn't I? Obviously, he was asked about David Moyes, and Solskjaer said that David Moyes has done. He's been doing a fantastic job at West Ham. This is his second spell, by the way, at West Ham. And he said that West Ham have had some good results recently. They beat Norwich 4-0, they beat Chelsea, they beat Watford and all of that. So they have done quite well recently, have West Ham. David Moyes is going to be reuniting with Manchester United. Moyes was talking recently as well, saying that he feels as though Man United didn't give him enough time. He said that's the difference between him and Solskjaer. And he says that Manchester United treat him differently because Moyes only lasted, 8 or 9 months at Manchester United. But definitely not the worst manager we've had in the Premier League era. We finished 7th under David Moyes and all of that. Luke Shaw, I think, could be playing tomorrow as well against West Ham. I think now Luke Shaw, he's back from his ankle injury because he's missed the last few games with an ankle injury as Luke Shaw. Solskjaer's confirmed that Eric Bailly's out for the game. He's ruled out. He did recently get discharged from hospital because his head injury is not too severe, but he's remained in London to have checks, like Solskjaer confirmed in his press conference. So I think, is he the only absentee? We've also got Phil Jones and Alex Tuanzebe out and that. But Solskjaer's made a lot of rotation this season, obviously, because we've had a lot of injuries throughout the course of this season. But I believe we'll beat West Ham. Leicester on the final day is going to be a pretty difficult game, let's be honest about that. And and that's mainly everything to update you with today on this video, guys. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.